Hey everyone, it's Jeannie, and today I'm sharing something that isn't a card. It is envelopes. And I wanted to share how I created these envelopes using Trinity Stamps Envelope Builder die and the newest envelope add-on box builder and side opening flap. That's a mouthful. So I know that the original envelope builder had released a couple months ago, and it was something that I thought was really cool because there's not that many pretty slimline envelopes that you can use, and I like being able to create my own envelopes. So all these dies are a little bit longer than the standard cutting plates, so I tend to just run them twice. So I'm going to show you that I adhered it with washi, but of course it didn't cut through the entire die. So once it goes through the first pass, I'll shift it and cut it again, and it cuts the entire die without any issues. Just make sure that you are holding it down with a piece of tape so it doesn't move when you shift to the second pass through your die cut machine. And if you have extended plates, you can go ahead and use them, but I have them. I just didn't want to pull them out, and I thought that running through a second time was fine. These are all the pieces for the envelope builder die, the original one. It comes with the base, the side flap, and the top and bottom opening flap. So for the side flap, you'll actually need two pieces. So I wrote on all these little pieces, and I'm using different colored cardstock so you can see the different pieces and can distinguish them, because you'll be building on the original envelope builder die for some of the pieces when you use it with the add-on. So I wanted to use the same colors for the same pieces throughout the video so you can see. So all these little pieces, except for the base, have score lines, and you need to add adhesive to it. So I'm using double-sided adhesive just because it's a lot easier to show on video, or you can use glue, whichever is your preference. So what I like to do is start with the side pieces because they are the largest pieces. I'll line it up against the base, and I'll go ahead and adhere it. So it lines up perfectly, and the envelope will be 4 inches by 9 inches, which is large enough for most standard slimline card sizes. I know that a lot of people like to make 3.5 by 8.5, and this fits perfectly. I'll also show you the slimline card go into this envelope, and that is measured at 3.5 by 8.5 as well. So once I adhere all the little pieces to the base, I will be closing up the envelope. So for one of the side flaps, I'm going to be using 1/8 double-sided adhesive on one of the side flaps at the edge. I'll remove it and then close the flap, and that closes it up. I'll also add adhesive to the bottom flap, which is the smaller flap, and then you'll have your envelope. So this envelope has a curved opening, and this is my slimline card. It actually doesn't have a card base, so it's a little bit flimsy right now, but it fits in, and then that was the purpose of showing you guys this. So you can close up that envelope using double-sided adhesive, washi, however you want to close it when you want to go ahead and send it off. So that's it for the first envelope using the envelope builder die. This is the add-on. It will create a box. It will also create an envelope with a pointed flap instead of that curved flap. So it's exactly the same as the original. You'll be using most of the pieces from the original envelope builder die except for that pointed flap. So if you remember, the first envelope was the curved flap opening, and so if you just wanted something a little bit different and you wanted this pointed flap, you can use this piece in the add-on die set to create it. So I'm putting it together just so you see how I'm going to assemble it, and it's not very different, right? It's just the flap that is different, and it's just your preference. And I think it's a cool add-on to it. I know that there was probably no need to include this pointed flap, but it's nice to have the option if you wanted to go this route. So I'm going to go ahead and add the side flaps and then add the bottom flap. And I'm adhering it the same. I really like these envelope builder dies because you can use your 12 by 12 paper pads to create the envelopes. And for the first and second one, you can use one piece of 12 by 12 pattern paper to create an envelope, and you have minimal waste by doing so, and I really like that. So I have a ton of paper pads and I've been wanting to use them up, but I just don't really use them in cards. I originally had bought them because I thought I would use them in cards, but I just don't. So here is the completed envelope, and as you see, the only difference is that pointed flap. This card has a little bit of dimension, so I had a little bit of a hard time and kept snagging, and because it was a little flimsy, there's no card base on it, it had a harder time going in, but I assure you, it fits the Slimline card perfectly. For the third card, this is actually a side opening flap. So like your typical business letter envelopes, it will open from the side instead of the top. And I'm using the base from the original envelope builder, the two side flaps from the new add-on, and then the two bottom flaps from the original envelope builder die. The assembly is the same way. Adding double-sided adhesive and scoring those lines, and I'll be putting this together so you can see how it comes together. So once I have everything ready, I'm going to go ahead and adhere it. I do something a little funky here, and I'm not really sure why. I think I just went on autopilot. So I'm adhering the sides, and normally I would adhere the other side, but for some reason I decided to do the bottom flaps first, and I don't think that this makes a difference. I know that it looks weird now because I'm using all these different colored cardstock pieces, but I think that you're going to be able to get the idea of how to put this together. For the adhesive, you'll be putting it on the side flap, but on the shorter end. So I'm only putting it on the shorter end because if you put it on the bottom flap, the side flap is a little bit shorter than the bottom flap. It doesn't go the entire length. So you don't want to put on too much adhesive. So once I close it up, you'll see what I mean. It's a little bit shorter than the bottom flap. So you want to allow enough space for the adhesive and not put the adhesive along the entire bottom flap. But that's it for the third card, and I think it looks pretty cool if you want that as an option. This is the fourth version, and you'll be using two of the pieces from the add-on builder to create a box. And if you are creating a gift set of cards, Slimline cards for a present, this is the perfect box to create and put like at least 4 or 5 or maybe even more. I actually haven't tried the limits. So you'll actually need two of the add-on pieces for the bottom and top flap, two of the side pieces, and you'll note that I only have adhesive on one end of it and then the side. So the top part of this orange piece doesn't have adhesive, and you do not want to put adhesive on it unless you're really closing up the box. But if you want someone to be able to open it, then you will leave it without any adhesive. And for the brown pieces, this will be the bottom and top flap. You'll note that I have marked that you are placing adhesive on the bottom of only one of the pieces, and then you'll be putting adhesive on the top and bottom of one of the pieces. So you want to make sure that you are not adding adhesive on every area that it has a score line. So once I have the adhesive added, I will be going ahead and folding those score lines, and then we'll assemble this box and put it together. This one is really cool. I am going to use this for Christmas gifts, so I think it's perfect because I've created a lot of Slimline cards, and I have boxes for my A2 card panels, but I don't have them for my Slimline cards. And last year I did include a card set for my Secret Santa, and although this year I don't think I'm going to be doing Secret Santa since, you know, that's a large gathering, I won't be able to do that, but it's going to be in my back pocket for next year for sure. So I'm going to do the same thing and adhere the two sides to the base. And for this set, you'll note that I am using two bases. So this is from the original Envelope Builder die. And you'll also note that I pointed out that at the top of this, it doesn't have the adhesive and one side does. So at the bottom of the side piece that does have adhesive, you want the piece that has adhesive on the top and bottom, because that will be the bottom of the box that you will be closing shut. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere the second base as well. And how I put this together is I'm going to go in with the little flaps of the orange piece and adhere it to the bottom flap first. And then that will start to form your box. I'm going to go ahead and remove the adhesive from the bottom flap and then the side flap. And I first adhere it to the bottom brown flap first, and then once that's secure in place, I'm going to go ahead and adhere it to the orange piece. And I'm trying to stick my hand in there because I was really gentle with it just in case I messed up, and I had to kind of push the pieces together to make sure that the adhesive was adhering to the cardstock. So for the top piece, I'm going to go ahead and slip that in, and you are able to open and close the box. And I think that this is such a cool idea for a gift box for Slimline cards. So that's it for all 4 boxes. This is the first one with the curved flap. This is the second one with the pointed flap. This is the one with the side opening flap that looks like a normal business envelope. And then the last one is the box, which is very cool. And I am going to update the description box with how many slimlines you can fit into this box. But that's it for today's video. I hope that this was helpful for you. I know that it is really intimidating to see big dies that require assembly, but hopefully this video will teach you how to do so. And if you have any further questions, feel free to leave them in the comment box and I will respond to you as quickly as possible. So I wanted to pop in again because I realized that when I put my follow-up envelopes together, you could use the new Trinity Slimline paper packs as your base because it does measure at 4 inches by 9, and for the black and white paper pack you definitely can foil it, which is really pretty for the envelopes, and it has the interior, which is really nice because these paper packs are double-sided. So I wanted to mention that because I thought that was a really good find, and it's a good use of these paper packs if you're not using it for your backgrounds in your Slimline cards. So the foiling, I just ran it through my mini Minc, and I was able to add that additional shine to these paper packs. It works for the black and white, and I think for the pattern you can just pair it with a solid cardstock and it would look great. I also wanted to mention that for the box, I know that I had mentioned that you can put adhesive on one end of it to close it tight. I still recommend that because I don't want the Slimline cards falling out. But if you wanted to send the box as a gift, you could fold it flat without adhering the adhesive to one of the sides. So it's kind of nice for that reason, and I think that you could use these in any way. For the pattern paper, I used it with some solid colors, and I thought it turned out really nice. So I just wanted to pop in to share that little tidbit, and I hope that's helpful for you guys. I just thought it was a good find with the paper pack. Thanks for joining me today for this video, and I'll see you guys next time.